Welcome. I'm Debbie Little, a licensed practitioner here at Center for Spiritual Living, Greater Las Vegas. Thank you for joining me today as we move into meditation, into this time of reflection and contemplation. I invite you now to relax in this moment. I take this journey mindfully, looking forward, never turning back. Each step of the way is a delightful experience, an adventure into the unknown, because truth leads the way. And I know that God's idea for me is greater than anything that I could imagine for myself. So I walk with a smile on my face, joyfully. I know that God is guiding me. God is that lighthouse of love, that guiding light. And the path is lighted before me. It is a time of self-discovery, of unfoldment. I've taken an inventory of my life, and knowing that every decision, every choice I've made has led me to this point, right here and right now. And I am so grateful. I feel that my consciousness is elevated, and I know that God is right where I am. This peaceful, beautiful path that lies before me is filled with blissful moments, with delightful surprises as I travel this journey from beginning to end. I set my intention to be open, to be willing to step into acceptance as God opens the door and I walk through, filled with excitement and anticipation of what is to come. But as I walk mindfully, I'm in the moment, just being, feeling that sense of freedom. It is a buoyant experience, lighthearted, glorious, beautiful. I am who I am because of God, because of the truth, because I was willing to open my arms wide to accept, to take life's challenges and move through them with ease and with peace, because peace is where I am. I hear the birds singing. I feel the wind gently caressing my skin. And I feel alive. It is yet so simple, but so beautiful. I move forward each step with a light, buoyant step. And I hold this moment in my heart forever, knowing that I have traveled far, but I carry those memories in my heart of every experience, of every choice, deep within my soul. Because I stepped into yes, yes, I am willing, I surrender, I let go of the ego self. to the bigger self and embrace that within myself, knowing that God is my source. So I never look back. I just move forward in this graceful step called life. Breathing in and breathing out. And the deepest sense of gratitude for this journey I call life. And so it is.
Welcome. This is Centers for Spiritual Living, Greater Las Vegas. CSLGLV is known as a teaching center. You may wish to experience this celebration service as many of our members do by having pen and paper nearby. Be ready to jot down many of the ideas, teachings, and inspirations presented here today. The service begins right after these community messages. After the service, explore more of today's message while enjoying the fellowship of others in your spiritual family. Let's Talk, our weekly conversation, takes place on Zoom immediately following this celebration service. If you are viewing this on YouTube, scroll down and click the Let's Talk link to join in. The Zoom invite can also be found in the recently emailed newsletter or on our Facebook page. Join our community conversation. The monthly publication, Science of Mind magazine, is a treasure to be read and contemplated. Along with in-depth articles, there is a day-to-day spiritual support to be gleaned from its daily guides. Licensed practitioner Lynn Frankenberger hosts Adventures in Faith every Tuesday at 11 a.m. on Zoom, and you're invited to join in. This is a weekly group discussion that focuses on those daily guides and how to apply them. Check Facebook and our weekly newsletter for more details.
Greetings from the North Pole. Santa sends his love, blessings, and gratitude. My name is Judy Poteet, and I am thrilled to announce that it's time for Secret Santa. The Center for Spiritual Living has been helping disadvantaged families at Christmas for almost 30 years. Children are chosen that do not qualify for assistance from the usual sources. Much of our support goes to families that would not normally need extra help. But because of an unexpected event or circumstances, their savings have been depleted and they will not be able to give their children anything at Christmas time. Those other times our support goes to families that might be called the working poor. Those families that work hard at low-paying jobs and live paycheck to paycheck. This year has been especially difficult. It takes about $100 to sponsor a child, $50 for the clothes, and $50 for the books, toys, and other gifts. If you don't have the exact amount to contribute, we will accept any amount, combine them together, and shop for a child. Or if you have several $100s, we'll accept that also. To contribute, click the donate button here, or you can mail a check to the center with Secret Santa noted. If you have any questions, please contact me. Now is the time. You can make a difference by sponsoring a child and creating a Christmas miracle. These children know their parents' circumstances, and they expect very little, if anything, at Christmas. Your contribution helps them to believe that anything is possible.
A vision board is not just a collection of wishes, it's a glimpse into the future that you envision for yourself and your life. Held in a beautiful space at the Enterprise Library in Las Vegas, this time together will be one of meditation, peaceful conversation, inward reflection, and an opportunity to open up to the highest idea for your days and years to come. Release the mind clutter and bring your vision into focus. Let your creative energy take charge. Put the law of attraction to work for you. Learn how to put the power in your affirmations.
We're all faced with different circumstances in our lives, and our experience of those circumstances is based largely on how we react to them.
In order to have full realization of the joy in a situation, we have to accept all aspects of it, including the challenging ones. Join Reverend Laura and vocalist Melissa K. Allen for an evening diving into the spiritual gifts available to us in the simple act of acceptance on our journey of becoming. CSL Greater Las Vegas brings you much of your favorite spiritual music every Friday at 7 p.m. with Spiritual Soundscapes. Join us this Christmas Eve at 7 p.m. for a festive Spiritual Soundscapes Christmas presentation, concluding with a special candle lighting experience guided by your very own Reverend Laura Hallett. Enjoy the evening as CSLGLV vocalists and special guest artists fill our hearts with holiday joy, performing classic Christmas songs and carols. It's music to your ears with a wintry atmosphere streaming to your living room. Prepare your candle and relax for the evening as we celebrate the eve of Christmas as a community virtually this 2021 holiday season. Next Sunday, we continue our theme for the month of December as we experience our very first in-person service with Reverend Laura as she presents A Gift of a New Journey. This live in-person service will be on location at Abston Elementary School. Justin Vogel will start the morning with a guided meditation at 9:30. The celebration service will begin at 10. At CSL Greater Las Vegas, it is our mission to inspire spiritual discovery through community connection, exploration, and celebration. This mission supports the all-inclusive vision of Centers for Spiritual Living worldwide, in which we envision a world that works for everyone and all of creation. In stillness and surrender is a time to pause, reflect, and plan the next phase of our evolving journey through life. We move from one experience to another, marveling at what we have become through this journey. When moving through our life's journey, a critical step is to pause at the plateau to assimilate and integrate our experiences before finding what's next. In this quiet space is time for deepening, steeping in the experience, and allowing ourselves to be transformed. Join Reverend Laura Hallett today as she presents The Joy of Becoming. Before we begin this celebration service, let's all join in and sing our opening song together.
Dashing through the snow in a one-horse open sleigh, o'er the fields we go, laughing all the way. Bells on bobtails ring, making spirits bright. What fun it is to ride and sing a sleighing song tonight. Oh, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Hey, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Now the ground is wide, go it while you're young. Take the girls tonight, sing this sleighing song. Get a bobtail bay, 240 for his speed, and hitch him to an open sleigh, and you will take the lead. Oh, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Hey, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh.
Welcome, everyone. What a glorious day. I'm Debbie Little, a licensed practitioner here at Center for Spiritual Living, Greater Las Vegas. And it is my pleasure to be here with you as we experience this uplifting celebration service together. Before we get started, I would like to mention that if you are in need of or seek spiritual nourishment throughout your week, make sure that you subscribe to this channel by clicking the red subscribe button and bell icon below. This way, you'll be informed of our weekly Monday message. or meditations and our uplifting soulful music. Become spiritually connected with us throughout the week just by subscribing. And throughout this service, if you feel a need for prayer, a prayer and a blessing for you, a family member, or a friend, then please go to our website and select our prayer request. Prayer and meditation are two very powerful spiritual traditions here in our community. Know that licensed spiritual practitioners are deeply committed to supporting you through prayer. We're here for you. Please feel free to call on us. As a matter of fact, even as I speak, 2 practitioners are providing spiritual support right now for you, for me, for our entire community. They're holding us in deep spiritual loving care from their homes by sitting in meditation during this service. We thank Karen Dunphy and Richard Houston for holding high watch for each one of us today. And now, let's take a moment to consider this week's affirmation. You may wish to jot it down or take a picture of it and keep it with you as a source of inspiration throughout the week. I'll read the affirmation and then we'll enter into contemplation together, after which I will give the invocation. I sit in joyful expectation of the revelation of God. I sit in joyful expectation of the revelation of God.
I breathe in, I breathe out, I take in, I give out, I let love, I let go, I release, and I know I forgive, I receive, I can feel, I believe, I am healed, I am whole, I release, and I know.
Right here and right now, in this moment, I breathe in and breathe out. I feel that breath of God breathing me into existence, into this moment, into the deepest sense of gratitude for this celebration today, where we come together to hear Spirit's message, to feel the closeness, to feel that unfoldment of grace and beauty and peace as we come together, a community. But in that unity of one, that one voice, that one heart, the one love, that we share this moment together. This day, the music, the message, the melody, everything that comes together, that unfolds perfectly in the service today. knowing that God is present in each one of us. We are that shining light, that beacon that shines out into this community, expressing our own unique expression of who we are, authentic, true, and beautiful. So right now, I simply just say thank you for the unfoldment of this day, of right now, just being present, being mindful, feeling the energy and the vibration of those around us, knowing that we are one. So I know that today is beautiful and perfect and unfolds in the most joyous way. So I simply just say thank you as I realize this truth that God is and I am, and so it is.
Baby, but you'd been torn in two lately, so give me your pain. I know just what to do. You're acting insane with the running you do. Fear was haunting you like crazy, and you let your heart feel blue. So give up this game, you know it's not the truth. The anguish you made is a lie you can choose. To let love in, be happy to let joy live, inhabit you, let me into your tired heart. I'll make the worries feel right with my love, so let me. I had come unglued, making a mess of all I knew, so I paid my respect to the years that I loathed and I feared. I left them behind and I swallowed my tears. To let joy live, inhabit you, let me into your tired heart. I'll make the worries feel right with my love, so let me. Won't you let me, please let me. I have never tried to convince you to believe in my love. I could only show you the miracles miracles that'll fall from above. Take a look in my eyes, see that God won't deny. You will fall in love with life. So let love in, be happy to let joy live, inhabit you, let me in. I'd be happy to love you intensely. Let love in, be happy to let joy live, inhabit you, let me in. I'd be happy to love you intensely. Love intensely.
Well, good morning, Center for Spiritual Living, Greater Las Vegas. What a joy it is to be with you on this glorious day here in December in the Las Vegas Valley. And I'm so glad to have you here with us. We are an open, loving, inclusive community. We see the presence of the divine in you, and we honor it just the way that it is showing up right here and right now. If this is your first time with us, I'm so grateful to have you here with us. And for those of you that are returning, we are always blessed by your presence. So with that, we're going to go right into our service today. So this year, we're working on a theme of timeless wisdom and evolutionary vision. And the year has been broken into different topics that will take us along that journey. Topics of releasing the things that keep us from having that full expression of this evolutionary vision through us. Topics that focus on the wisdom that is available to us. And topics that allow us to transform our lives in ways that are just amazing to behold. So this month's theme is the journey of becoming. The journey of becoming. And today's topic is the joy of that, the joy of becoming. You know, when we look at that, we think about what it is that allows us to experience this full joy. And so we've been looking at some different themes. Last week we talked about surrender, and how surrender is actually an action. It's not just a passive thing. And it is certainly not a negative thing. We often think of it in a connotation of being something that we want to avoid. But surrender is actually a way of liberating ourselves and allowing that fullness and the expression of the divine to move through us. On our Wednesday evenings, we're looking at spiritual practices that help that. So the first Wednesday, we talked about visioning as a spiritual practice. What is actually wanting to become through me? And we explored that practice of visioning to see how we can get a clearer picture of what is wanting to emerge. And then we talked about surrender a little bit more, taking surrender into that next step where it is actually an active force in our lives that allows us to make the space for transformation to happen. And so these weeks have been building upon each other. Next Wednesday, we're going to be doing some more practices that help us get clearer on what that vision is and how that vision is unfolding in our lives. And so I hope you join us on our Wednesday evening services as well. So our founder, Ernest Holmes, says that God is never becoming. God simply is. Right here and right now, there is nothing that God needs, nothing that God has to change, nothing that God is wanting to be different than what it already is. There's the fullness and the allness of the divine is expressing itself in perfection right here and right now. And because we know that this is the truth of spirit, and we know that we are one with that divine presence, we know that that's the truth of ourselves. But we don't always experience that, because there are things that we need to do to clear away some of the stuff that's allowing us to not be that full expression of the divine. That is what we are doing. We are becoming more of what God already is. God doesn't change. It is timeless. It is changeless. It is perfect. But we are under a constant evolutionary process of becoming more and more of that divine expression that we're meant to be. So what is it that keeps us from feeling that? What are some of the things that we need to begin to look at in our lives to change our experience of that fullness of the divine. One of the things that's so important is to remember that there's only ever this present moment. In our human experience, we spend way too much time thinking about the past or dwelling upon the future. We spend too much time outside of the present moment, experiencing things that are holding us back and limiting us. Where if we stay in the present moment, everything is possible right then and right there. It's when we spend all our time worrying about the things that have happened in the past. And usually we think about the things in the past, either regret or anger or guilt or some of these negative emotions that are very limiting in allowing us to express our fullness. And we dwell on these things that have happened and think that because they have happened, that's what has to be. Now, Ernest says in many of his books, in many different ways, there is no power in precedence. In what has come before has no power whatsoever. Everything that has power is right here, right now, in this present moment. And so when we spend all of our time in the past thinking about that, regretting, feeling guilty, being angry over what has happened, we are limiting ourselves. The other thing that we do is we spend time worrying about the future. We spend time thinking about what's going to happen, what I need to do, how I need to behave, how this is going to affect me. And we spend so much time in the future, that we miss out on what's happening in the present moment. I spend a lot of time driving. I have my entire life. And when I'm in the car driving, I'm talking to myself, which, makes other people on the road look at me kind of strange, but that's okay. So I spent this time talking to myself. And in the past, I've remembered spending so much time either reliving something that happened that was an experience that I didn't like, and I would relive it and say to myself the things that I should have said back then that I didn't say. And so it would go through my mind. There was this constant mental chatter. Or I was nervous about something that was going to happen, and so I was rehearsing that, what I was going to say, how I was going to be, how other people were going to react to me. And I found myself constantly in this push and pull of the past and the future, and it kept me totally worked up over things and out of the present moment. And after I had been studying here at the Centers for Spiritual Living for a couple of years, I started to notice this more and more. And so I decided to figure out a way to keep myself in the present moment. And I would do that by simply asking myself one question. I would ask myself, what do I know right now? So when I found myself in these situations where my mind was just running rampant on either past events or worrying about future events, I would just simply bring myself to the present moment. And I would ask, what do I know right now? And usually what would come up to me would be something like a spiritual truth. I know the place on which I stand is holy ground, for God is there. I know that God is all there is. I know that there's only one thing happening in this universe right now, and that is the action and the activity of the divine. So one of these thoughts would come to my mind, and it would bring me to the present moment. Now, there were times where I had to do this many, many times within an hour or so, or within that drive that I was doing, because I would get myself centered in the present moment, and then 30 seconds later, I was back thinking about the past or the future. And so I would just have to keep bringing myself back to present, back to present, back to present. And eventually it became such a ingrained activity within me that I just had to focus on the question. I even had to answer the question. I just had to ask myself, what do I know right now? And that would bring me centered. And then I found that those periods of being centered were expanding. And then pretty soon I stopped having those incidents of thinking about the past or the future in that manic kind of way that was running through my mind. And so it was a really good practice for me to just keep myself centered in the present moment. And of course, some of our spiritual practices like meditation and contemplation and journaling and spiritual mind treatment and visioning have helped me expand those moments of being in the fully present now. And so it's easy for me to come back to the present and not spend all my time in the past or the future. And so that's one of the things that has allowed me to move through some of these ideas. Going back to what I was saying with Ernest at the beginning, Ernest says that God is never becoming. God is. Right here, right now, God is perfect. God is whole, right here and right now. God is never becoming. And so I know that there is only ever this one thing happening here in the universe, and that is the action and the activity of the divine. It doesn't matter how it shows up. It doesn't matter who it's coming through. There's only ever this one thing happening, because I know truly believe that God is all there is. And so there cannot be anything else outside of the action and the activity of the divine. When we go back to biblical text and some of our other ancient spiritual texts, we look at this idea of what is God. In the book of Genesis, in the Bible, and in the first books of the Torah, there's the story of Moses. Moses speaking to God on the mountain, at the burning bush. And Moses has been tasked with going and setting free his people from the rule of the Egyptians. And he wants a little help with this. And so he asks God, he asks Spirit, who should I say is my God? Who should I say is demanding that my people be freed? And Spirit answers him with the phrase, I am that I am. That's our English translation of it. In ancient Hebrew, it was Aya, Asher, Aya. Aya, Asher, Aya. I am that I am. This can also be interpreted as, I am that which I am becoming. I am that which I am becoming. This idea of I am that I am, that there is only this one thing, and this one thing is the allness of it. And this one thing is constantly becoming through each one of its expressions. Spirit is not changing, but Spirit is becoming through each one of us. And what a great relief that can be, to know that there is this unfoldment of the divine moving through us. In the ancient Sanskrit, they have a similar phrase, Tat Tavam Asi. Tat Tavam Asi. Thou art that, or thou art that which it is becoming. It is that idea, again, totally different religious traditions, that this idea of this oneness, of this universal presence, is moving through each one of its creations, becoming more as each one of its creations experiences it. And so this idea of this becoming is actually us transforming. It is not Spirit transforming. Spirit is perfect and whole and complete right now. But we are experiencing more of it through the unfoldment of it within us. And so what a joy that becomes when we realize that this is the expression of the divine. Well, that's why at the beginning I say that, we honor you for the unique way that Spirit is showing up through you. This is one of our core principles here at Centers for Spiritual Living, that we see the beauty and the magnificence of all of the divinity that is expressing in this world, this universe that we exist in. Is magnitude of different expressions of the divine are just overwhelming. And to see it coming through and to see people experiencing more and more of that, that's where the big joy of becoming is. That's what really lights us up. So there are some things that we can do to actually increase this even more. In the Christian Bible, it's written, be still and know. Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know that the unfoldment of the divine is happening through me right now. I recently went on vacation. And before, vacation's not an unusual thing for me, but this was a different one. I had just completed my work with Centers for Spiritual Living home office, and I had not yet begun here as your senior minister. And so I took 17 days and left the country and went to a place where I could be still and know. A place where I could spend a significant portion of my time on inward reflection, on allowing myself to pause, to revitalize, to energize myself, to experience things that I hadn't experienced before in a unique way. And a friend of mine, before I left, told me that I really needed to take the time to honor that pause, to honor what I was going through, to honor this journey that I had been on, and reflect upon it before I move on to the next phase of it. And so for me, it was a great spiritual experience. I had about 5 days by myself, and I would do some nice self-care kind of things. I did massage and facials and pedicures and all of those wonderful things that we do for our body. I spent 3 hours sitting in the plaza, drinking coffee, just relaxing under a shade tree and enjoying the beauty that was around me and all of the interesting life that I was experiencing. It was just really a great time for me to pause, to take that moment and just experience it. You know, this time of year offers us a great opportunity to pause. Historically, throughout the millennia, people have taken this time, this winter solstice, this time of more darkness, this time where we're not as active, where we're not having to worry about planting crops or harvesting them or tending to animals or the things that have kept us busy throughout the rest of the year. And it's a time of becoming quiet, becoming still, reflecting on what has happened throughout the year, and beginning to awaken within ourselves what is the next thing yet to be. In the Taoist tradition, we talk about yin and yang energies. The winter solstice is very much a yin energy. It is very quiet and reflective and contemplative. It is a time to simply relax. And then we have the yang energy, which is the boisterous, adventuresome activity that allows things to happen within us that are a little more creative and a little more out there. You know, it kind of reminds me of being on a roller coaster. You know, you're on this roller coaster and you have this arduous climb up to the top. And then right at the top, there's this beautiful little pause. It's very brief, it doesn't last very long. But in that little brief pause, I feel within myself this huge amount of excitement because I know what's going to happen. I know that as soon as I get up here and it starts that downward motion, that the momentum is going to build, and it's going to be this, butterflies in the stomach, tingly, exciting energy that is moving through us. And so if we think about our life that way, we have these moments where we are having to struggle, having to work, having to get to that place. And then we get to that pinnacle, and we kind of pause. And we allow ourselves to just soak in what's available there before we begin that next exciting part of our journey. Our world has experienced this, almost 2 year now pause that has been necessitated because of the pandemic that we've been experiencing. This COVID pause has been a beautiful opportunity for us to take a moment and reflect on what our life was before and what we want our life to become. And so if we spend time in this moment, this pause that we have right now, and not waste it, not try to hurry through to the next thing, and actually spend some time in this COVID pause that we've been forced to endure here, then there's a gift there for us too. I've heard the phrase bandied around quite a bit lately, the Great Reset, that our world is experiencing this great reset of priorities. What is important in our lives? How do we want to spend our life energy? If we take the time and we honor this moment that we have and not try to push through it to get to the next side, and actually just really be still and know what's available for us in this moment, I think there's a great gift there. One of the things that we can do in our lives to begin to develop the habit of this is to just set ourselves a reminder to take a moment and pause. Most of us carry around a cell phone nowadays that has great timers on it. I have an app on mine that will ring a chime at whatever intervals that I want to use. And I usually use it for drinking water because I have a tendency not to drink enough water. So I'll set myself a 5-minute timer, and every 5 minutes I'll take a drink of my water so that I can get that in. But lately I've also been taking that moment when I take my drink of water to actually pause and to just sit quietly in the silence and just breathe for a few moments. It doesn't take long. It doesn't really interrupt my day. I'm doing something different anyway because the chime has told me to do that. So, if we can find these ways to give ourselves some kind of a cue to take a moment and pause and to allow that ourselves to experience what is available for us in this present moment. Because remember, the moment, this present moment, this now, is truly all there is. Past and future are just human constructs. Spirit only knows now. Spirit only knows this present moment. And in this present moment is the fullness and the allness and the joy of what is becoming through us. And so take this time. Pause. Schedule your pauses in the day. When you have an extended pause, honor it. Allow yourself to really feel it. Allow yourself to be revitalized and re-energized and rejuvenated by these few moments of being still. It's a great gift that you can offer yourself. So let's take this opportunity to take these ideas into prayer. Here at Centers for Spiritual Living, we use affirmative prayer. We call it spiritual mind treatment. It has 5 unique stages. I'm going to talk a little bit more about that on Wednesday night. But it's a great gift to give yourself to spend time knowing truth, speaking truth aloud, and affirming that this is really what is happening in your life, and giving thanks for it, and then letting it go. All right, so I just invite you to take a moment and turn within. And do that in whatever way is comfortable for you. I like to close my eyes, take in a nice breath, and center myself. And so right here and right now, I know that there's only one thing. I know that this is the power and the presence of the divine. I know that it is the allness and the fullness of this entire universe, that nothing exists outside of this one power, this one presence, this one unconditional loving creator that has brought forth everything into existence. I see this presence all around me. I feel it in the people I meet. I know that it is active within me, that it is the truth of my being, and therefore I know it is the truth of everyone. That we are each a unique, perfect emanation of that divine creator, that loving presence. And I know that it doesn't matter what I call it. If I call it universe, or energy, or spirit, or God, it is all one thing, because there is only ever this one thing. And so knowing this truth, I speak my word. I know that right here and right now, this divine presence is moving through each and every one of us. It is creating our lives. It is allowing us to become that evolutionary, visionary momentum that is bringing about change not only in our own individual lives, but in our world around us. And I know that as we relax into this knowing, that we feel that presence even greater in more tangible ways. We see it expressing itself through us. We see the work that it does in our lives. We see our lives transform under grace and in perfect ways. Because that's what is always happening. The action and the activity of the divine is unfolding itself into each one of us as we are becoming more of an expression of it. As we are becoming that pure joy, that divine love, that light that lights the way for others. I'm so grateful to know this. I'm so grateful to feel this. I'm so grateful to see it in action in our community, in our world. And so I simply release this word into that divine loving presence that always says yes. I let it go and I let it be. And so it is. Amen.
Thank you, Reverend Laura, for sharing such a powerful message and heartfelt prayer with us today. We now have the opportunity to share our good. I invite you to take a moment to reflect on all of the blessings in your life. Allow yourself to feel the gratitude for those blessings. Center for Spiritual Living Greater Las Vegas is grateful to bless our community by offering spiritual education, opportunities for connection, support through prayer, and our Sunday and Wednesday online services. There are a few convenient ways of giving. You may choose text to give, and there is a contribution link below. And of course, you may always choose to send us a check. We welcome your conscious giving in the spirit of gratitude and infinite possibility. We appreciate your generosity. And now, while you are sending your gift, let's listen again to Nadine Risha.
Trust God at every turn. I would hear God's voice and my heart would surrender then. Truly depend on Him. I go without knowing, do without doubting, without fearing,
Thank you, Nadine. You always inspire and uplift us with your talent. And thank you for your generous gift and support of our center. We remain committed to serving you. Center for Spiritual Living, Greater Las Vegas, continues to provide enriching services, transformative classes, and powerful opportunities for connection within our community. Be sure to watch the announcements at the end of today's service for what's coming up in the weeks ahead. Now let's join together in a closing song before our benediction.
Thank you for this day, Spirit, thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit, thank you for this day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. Thank you for this day, Spirit, thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit, thank you for this day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. Thank you for my friends, Spirit, thank you for my friends. Thank you for my friends, Spirit, thank you for my friends. My wonderful, wonderful, wonderful friends. My wonderful, wonderful, wonderful friends. Thank you for this life, Spirit, thank you for this life. Thank you for this life, Spirit, thank you for this life. My wonderful, wonderful, wonderful life. My wonderful, wonderful, wonderful life. Thank you for this day, Spirit, thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit, thank you for this day. This beautiful, beautiful, beautiful day. This beautiful, beautiful, beautiful day.
Thank you all for being with us here this morning. It's been such a great joy coming to you this way. I want to thank our practitioners, Debbie and Karen and Richard, for being here with us, holding that consciousness, providing our invocation and all of our prayer support today. I also want to thank our media team, and Joe, who led by Joe Blom, who do such an amazing job bringing us these stellar services. And I want to thank each one of you. Thank you all for your support of this community, whether it's through your financial contributions, through your service, through your love, and through your prayer. I know that we truly are blessed by this collective consciousness, and that we are becoming a blessing to the Las Vegas area. So thank you all. I hope to see you next week. We're going to be at Abston Elementary School, and so I hope you join us there. Have a great week, and we'll see you next week.
After the service, explore more of today's message while enjoying the fellowship of others in your spiritual family. Let's Talk, our weekly conversation, takes place on Zoom immediately following this celebration service. If you are viewing this on YouTube, scroll down and click the Let's Talk link to join in. The Zoom invite can also be found in the recently emailed newsletter or on our Facebook page. Join our community conversation. The monthly publication, Science of Mind magazine, is a treasure to be read and contemplated. Along with in-depth articles, there is a day-to-day spiritual support to be gleaned from its daily guides. Licensed practitioner Lynn Frankenberger hosts Adventures in Faith every Tuesday at 11 a.m. on Zoom, and you're invited to join in. This is a weekly group discussion that focuses on those daily guides and how to apply them. Check Facebook and our weekly newsletter for more details.
Greetings from the North Pole. Santa sends us love, blessings, and gratitude. My name is Judy Poteet, and I am thrilled to announce that it's time for Secret Santa. The Center for Spiritual Living has been helping disadvantaged families at Christmas for almost 30 years. Children are chosen that do not qualify for assistance from the usual sources. Much of our support goes to families that would not normally need extra help. but because of an unexpected event or circumstances, their savings have been depleted and they will not be able to give their children anything at Christmas time. Those other times our support goes to families that might be called the working poor. Those families that work hard at low-paying jobs and live paycheck to paycheck. This year has been especially difficult. It takes about $100 to sponsor a child, $50 for the clothes, and $50 for the books, toys, and other gifts. If you don't have the exact amount to contribute, we will accept any amount, combine them together, and shop for a child. Or if you have several $100s, we'll accept that also. To contribute, click the donate button here, or you can mail a check to the center with Secret Santa noted. If you have any questions, please contact me. Now is the time. You can make a difference by sponsoring a child and creating a Christmas miracle. These children know their parents' circumstances, and they expect very little, if anything, at Christmas. Your contribution helps them to believe that anything is possible.
A vision board is not just a collection of wishes, it's a glimpse into the future that you envision for yourself and your life. Held in a beautiful space at the Enterprise Library in Las Vegas, this time together will be one of meditation, peaceful conversation, inward reflection, and an opportunity to open up to the highest idea for your days and years to come. Release the mind clutter and bring your vision into focus. Let your creative energy take charge. Put the law of attraction to work for you. Learn how to put the power in your affirmations.
You know, we're all faced with different circumstances in our lives, and our experience of those circumstances is based largely on how we react to them.
In order to have full realization of the joy in a situation, we have to accept all aspects of it, including the challenging ones. Join Reverend Laura and vocalist Melissa K. Allen for an evening diving into the spiritual gifts available to us in the simple act of acceptance on our journey of becoming. CSL Greater Las Vegas brings you much of your favorite spiritual music every Friday at 7 p.m. with Spiritual Soundscapes. Join us this Christmas Eve at 7 p.m. for a festive Spiritual Soundscapes Christmas presentation, concluding with a special candle lighting experience guided by your very own Reverend Laura Hallett. Enjoy the evening as CSLGLV vocalists and special guest artists fill our hearts with holiday joy, performing classic Christmas songs and carols. It's music to your ears with a wintry atmosphere streaming to your living room. Prepare your candle and relax for the evening as we celebrate the eve of Christmas as a community virtually this 2021 holiday season. Next Sunday, we continue our theme for the month of December as we experience our very first in-person service with Reverend Laura as she presents A Gift of a New Journey. This live in-person service will be on location at Abston Elementary School. Justin Vogel will start the morning with a guided meditation at 9:30. The celebration service will begin at 10. At CSL Greater Las Vegas, it is our mission to inspire spiritual discovery through community connection, exploration, and celebration. This mission supports the all-inclusive vision of Centers for Spiritual Living worldwide, in which we envision a world that works for everyone and all of creation.